Okay, if you're a cat owner, I am pretty sure you know this feeling. You see your cat, you're just overcome with love, and all you want to do is scoop them up for a big old hug. But what happens when they totally resist? Today, we're going to get into why so many of our feline friends prefer to keep their paws firmly on the ground. It's such a classic scene, right? And honestly, it can be a little heartbreaking. You go in for a loving cuddle, and what you get back is this wriggling, desperate little escape artist. It's so easy to take that personally and ask that one question you dread asking. Does my cat hate me? Well, let me just say you can breathe a huge sigh of relief. The answer is almost certainly no. This really isn't about how they feel about you. It's all about a deep-seated survival instinct that's been passed down for thousands and thousands of years, way before they ever stepped a paw inside a house. So to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to do something a little weird. We need to stop thinking like us, like humans, for a minute. We need to try and see the world from their point of view. You know, 4 paws on the floor, with a brain that's still very much wired for the wild. Yeah, it all starts way back here. Our cozy little house cats are descended from a wild cat that was an absolute master of survival. I mean, picture a creature that lived alone, hunted alone, and was 100% responsible for its own safety. That self-reliant, super-aware mindset, it's still deeply programmed into your cat's DNA. And this is the absolute key, right here. When you lift a cat off the ground, you instantly take away their #1 survival tool, the ability to run away. In their mind, they've just lost all control. They can't bolt from a sudden noise or what they think might be a threat, and that feeling can be genuinely terrifying for them. You know, this quote from Cats Protection it hits the nail on the head. Having all 4 paws on a solid surface isn't just about being comfortable, it's about feeling secure. It means they're in charge of their own escape route. And being held, no matter how much love is behind it, just robs them of that fundamental sense of safety. And think about it, it's not just about losing the ability to run. Being held can feel physically trapping. Can you imagine not being able to turn your head to check out a weird sound, or stretch out, or get away if something startles you? That feeling of just being restrained is enough to trigger a major stress response. You have to remember, cats have incredible memories, and any past trauma can play a huge role here. If the only times they've ever been picked up involved being handled roughly, or worse, shoved into a carrier for a scary trip to the vet, well, they're going to build a really strong negative association with the simple act of being lifted up. And you know, so much of this is decided in this tiny window of time, between 2 and 7 weeks old. That is the critical period where a kitten's brain is basically figuring out what's safe and what's scary. Gentle, positive handling during these weeks teaches them that human hands are a good thing. Without that early positive programming, they're way more likely to see being held as a threat for their entire life. Of course, we also have to consider a much simpler, more direct reason. It might just hurt. An older cat could have stiff, arthritic joints that you can't see. Some cats have really sensitive bellies, or maybe there's an old injury. If a cat that used to be okay with being held suddenly starts to hate it, that's often a big red flag that it might be time for a checkup with the vet. And finally, it might just be them. I mean, think about it. Some people are natural huggers, right? And other people would much rather just give a friendly wave. It's exactly the same with cats. Some genuinely love being held and snuggled, while others will only put up with it for a second. It's not a reflection of how much they love you. It's just their personal preference. So, okay, how do we fix this? How do we bridge the gap between our desire to cuddle and their need for control? Well, it all comes down to learning their language. We need to start thinking in terms of something we could call feline consent. It's about respectfully asking for an interaction, not just taking it, and then watching really closely for their answer. All right, think of this as your official cheat sheet for feline communication. Over on the left, you've got all the clear green lights. A cat that leans into your touch, purrs, and feels all soft and relaxed in your hands. That's an enthusiastic yes. But on the right, these are the red flags. That fast flicking tail, for example, isn't happiness, it's irritation. A stiff body, ears pinned back. Learning to spot these early signs is the single best way to show your cat that you respect them. But look, let's be real. Sometimes you just have to pick your cat up, right? For those moments when it's necessary, there is a right way to do it. A technique that supports them physically and emotionally, which helps to build trust instead of breaking it down. Okay, so here's the technique that makes a world of difference. Always start slow. Offer a pet first to see if they're even in the mood. Now, when you lift, proper support is everything. One hand goes securely under their chest, right behind the front legs. But, and this is the part most people get wrong, your other hand has to support their entire back end. Never ever let their back legs just dangle in the air. Hold them close to your body so they feel stable, and when it's time to put them down, lower them all the way to the floor. This whole process makes them feel secure from start to finish. And this all leads to a really important realization. What if the goal isn't to train your cat to enjoy being held? What if, instead, the goal is to train ourselves to recognize all the other amazing ways they're already showing us they love us? See, cat affection is often way quieter, more subtle than a big, clumsy human hug. That slow blink they give you from across the room, that is a cat kiss. It's a sign of absolute trust. When they just choose to be in the same room with you or follow you from the kitchen to the living room, what they're saying is, you are my safe person. Honestly, these quiet little moments are the truest signs of a really deep bond. This right here, this is the heart of it all. We spend so much time trying to show love in our language, the hug, the cuddle. But the real connection, the deepest bond, that's formed when we learn to hear and appreciate love when it's spoken in their language. It's just as real, even if it stays on the ground. So really, that's the choice we have as cat people, isn't it? Are we going to try to force a type of affection that just doesn't make sense to them? Or are we going to learn to appreciate the affection they're already giving us all the time? When you make that little shift in perspective, you'll find that your relationship isn't just about cuddles. It's about a profound mutual respect. And that is a bond that will last a lifetime.